Oh, you weren't here last meeting?
No, I was here. It was just the McDermott. So they're.
But Bob was
Yeah.
here last meeting.
We had.
Yeah, Bob was here.
Yeah. Oh, this, okay, February.
Yeah, yeah, we were all here.
We were all here.
I wasn't awake.
Yeah, we were all here. You ready? The April 2024 meeting of the City of Scranton Zoning Hearing Board will now come to order. Will the secretary please take roll?
Board Member DeAntona.
Here.
Board Member Gattens.
Here.
Board Member Morris.
Here.
Chairman Walsh.
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the Pennsylvania State Sunshine Law, this board shall render its decision on each case either at the end of each hearing or within 45 days of the hearing. If you are to give testimony in a case, please come to the podium, raise your right hand, and wait to be sworn in. After being sworn in, state your name and address and proceed with your testimony. Also, anyone giving testimony who does not become a party to the case may obtain a written decision from the zoning office. I have two announcements of law. If you are granted a variance or a special exception, you must wait 30 days from the date of our decision to obtain the necessary permits to start work. However, you may obtain a permit sooner by signing a waiver that any work done during that 30-day period is at your own risk. A favorable decision by this board shall expire 12 months from the date of said authorization in accordance with Section 111I of the zoning ordinance. If you fail to obtain the necessary permits or do not comply with any or all conditions of said authorization, you must seek an extension. Is there any remarks from the board?
Yes, I just have one, and it's something that's been back and forth with a little bit. At our February meeting, we approved a parking lot for a developer in the downtown area. By a vote of 3-1, it was approved. And I'm just a little disappointed that the board had to hear about it in a newspaper article. I just wish the city would have just given us the courtesy a little bit to let us know that they're going to challenge it, and they have every right to challenge it. And I was a dissent vote, and 3 of my colleagues voted yes, but I support their vote, what they did. We did that vote the way it should be done, and again, if the city wants to challenge it and everything, it's fine. But just out of courtesy, we're a board that represents the city. I just would have liked a little bit of a heads up instead of reading that in the Scranton Times. I just thought it was wrong. So with that, I'm done.
Okay. The attestments and Abraham, the attestments and verifications of the posting, please.
That is correct.
Okay. Can we call the first case?
The first we have on our agenda today is Taris Aosta seeks special exception to put a mobile home in the front yard at 1423 Euclid Avenue, R-10 zone. Will you please step up?
Anybody here for Euclid Avenue? Well, I think this is the second time, right? We're gonna,
Yeah, this is the second time he did a no-show.
are we gonna dismiss this case?
We'd have to save it for the
We'd have
to the end. Save it to the end.
and see
Okay.
if it shows up.
Unfortunately, we're gonna push that to the end. Next case, please.
Second on the agenda is Jose Angel Diaz Galanz seeks special exception to recognize property also as a commercial at 1607 Washburn Street, R-10 zone. Will you please step up?
Raise our right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Name and address for the two of you, please.
1604 Washburn Street.
Give me your name.
Oh, my name is Jose Angel Diaz Galanz.
Sean Bingham, 215 South Decker Court, Scranton, PA 18504.
You may proceed, guys.
Gentlemen, we're asking for a special exception tonight. We were here, it was supposed to be for last month, but it got postponed to this month. The address, the correct address is located at 1604 Washburn Street. And the building was built sometime in the late 1920s. And the building had always been commercial with an apartment on the second floor. And as a little kid, I lived a few blocks away, we used to go to the store there. It was Aunt Margaret's store. Since the building has gone condemned, and we looked to see when the building actually fell condemned, and we don't have a timeline, I believe it was when we spoke with Abraham in regards to it, Mr. King believed it to be over 10 years, and over X amount of time, the building automatically becomes residential and it no longer stands commercial. Our variance today we're asking for is it to be turned back into a commercial setting. So, Mr. Diaz, we'll let you, I have the prints right here just for it. So it's a 14 by 30 storefront. The overall first floor would be 14 by 70. So we have a set of prints. If you want to look at it, we can give you a set here.
Please. Is it one set, or is there a couple?
You'll see what we're asking to do on the inside. We're actually just looking to see if we can get it turned back into commercial before we move forward.
Before we go anywhere with this,
Yeah.
Abraham, was there letters sent out to these people? Because the paper we got, again, has no one listed for names and addresses.
Yes, that's correct. I personally mailed out to the neighbors
I
in the
can't
area.
hear, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I personally mailed out the letters to the neighbors in the area, abutting, adjacent, and a couple others as well. So it was more than 6 letters went out.
Okay. Thank you, sir, appreciate it.
Mr. Bingham, with this paperwork here, was there a parking plan with that, or?
So with the parking, last month when we were here, we were asked if we could secure parking. We spoke with Joe Machaco, the owner of the Villa Maria, which is in essence 35 feet away. In the eastern corner of his lot, he has agreed with Mr. Diaz to allow for 2 spots there. So it's in essence 20 feet away from his building. So I have a signed paper from Mr. Machaco as well. Would you like to see that?
Sure.
So he's going to offer 2 spots.
So you're saying that's where his customers are going to park?
Sure, if in relation to where the door is right here, you have probably to the wall right there, and that's the Villa Maria's parking spot. So it'd be the 2 first spots right there.
You want to see these?
So what exactly is he doing in the store?
Okay, Mr. Diaz, you want to talk or you want me to talk? Okay. So what he wants to open up is a deli sandwich shop, which is just going to be takeout only, and it would be in the area of the 14 by 30 feet. Oh, I'm sorry, 13 by 30 feet, 14 by 30, which would be 420 square foot. As you see, you walk in the door to be a cashier right there, then the deli right behind it. I mean, it's an awful small spot for him to do it. Also, you know, we had NEIC out there yesterday, Monday morning. There is extensive work that needs to be done on the building as well. So Mr. Diaz is prepared, and he's aware that he's prepared to spend over almost $100,000 to put into this building in order to make this happen. That's for the apartment upstairs and the storefront downstairs.
One apartment?
One apartment, correct. I actually have something from the city that says it's 2 units and 1 commercial. But going through it yesterday, I don't even know how they got actually 1 apartment upstairs. It's awfully small, but I have that as well. You know,
You don't know the square footage of that apartment upstairs, do you?
it's the same. It's the same downstairs. So it's 14 by 70.
Okay.
So you got 980 square feet.
Good, thank you. How many employees are you going to have, sir?
It's his son and his daughter. Mr. Diaz purchased the property down at, as he alluded to, 1500 of Washburn Street, which is, here's 16.
Yeah.
He's right down the street. So his son and his daughter will be the only employees there. And again, it's a takeout.
Okay. Are you going to have a liquor license?
No,
No.
no liquor license.
Dan, do we have to figure in the parking for that apartment?
Well, because it's been vacant for so long, and you're in an R10 zone, so you only need one parking spot for the apartment, and the takeout is so small, I don't think you need more than one on that one either.
So yes, parking with that agreement.
Yes, I mean, I suggest that those 2 parking spots in Machaco's land be posted as being reserved for
Yeah.
the deli.
Yeah. Anybody else here? That's good. Yeah. Anybody else?
You good? Is there anyone here to give testimony on this case? There's not.
So before we vote, there's a couple questions that I forgot to ask. What's your hours of operation going to be?
So the hours of operation will be 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., contingent upon your approval. If there's something different that has to be, Mr. Diaz is well aware that, you know, and he'll conform to it.
Okay, I have a couple items I'd like to add to it before we vote.
Mr. Diaz.
Your hours are fine. Your hours are fine. The 2 parking spots that Mr. Machaco gave you, just stay there.
Stay with me, bro. Stay with
2
me.
parking spots that Mr. Machaco gave you, we want them marked off that they're strictly for your customers. We
Right.
want signage up there as well. Your lighting on the outside needs to be under control. We've approved a couple throughout the neighborhoods that it's like going down the Las Vegas Strip at night.
I'm familiar.
So,
I know.
So I think you need to talk to our zoning officer about the lighting. I mean, it's nice to make it nice and bright, but it can't be intrusive on the neighbors and the people driving by that area. So I think you should talk to Mr. Negron there and talk about what you need to do, and just make sure it's not.
I think Mr. Diaz would just simply
Yeah.
put an outdoor light. You're not going to get all crazy mucho lighting, right? No. No. Okay, Poppy.
So I think we covered everything?
Yes.
Okay. I'll make a motion. I'm sorry, what them contingencies down on there as far as the signage to mark the spots? The lighting?
Yeah, the lighting under the ordinance has to be directed away from being spread out throughout the neighborhood.
And
Yeah,
just-
it typically says that, that the light can't be causing a nuisance to neighboring properties.
Right.
So they want, in the ordinance, it says that they have to shield it, divert it, direct it, as to prevent that nuisance from happening.
Right. But as you know, we have a couple stores throughout the city, and I'll call out the one on Pittston Avenue that we approved and everything, and the lighting is ungodly there at night. It's blinding coming down Pittston Avenue and at that intersection. Grant, they turn it off and they close the store down at 10 or 11, but it just should never be that bright with the number of LED bulbs, the lights that are on that building.
So, did you second that?
Second.
Well, we had a second on that, Dan.
Could you read them back to me, Dan, what we put on?
Yes, the signage has to be within the ordinance and directed against away from the neighbors. The 2 parking spots have to be marked or reserved for 1406 Washburn. And was there a third one?
Hours, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Hours of 8 a.m. Okay, with those conditions, do we have a second?
Yes, we had a
Yeah,
second.
Mr. DeAntona seconded.
Board Member DeAntona,
Yes.
Board Member Gattens,
Yes.
Board Member Morris,
Yes.
Chairman Walsh.
Yes, vote of 4-0, you've been approved. Good luck, guys.
No, come here, Poppy. Just say thank you to them. Gracias.
Did you want this paper? Sean,
Yeah.
did you want this stuff back?
Yes, we'll take it, yeah. Thank you.
Could we call the next case, please?
Third on the agenda today, we have, excuse how I say this, Vcash Ram Hau seeks special exception to convert his single-family home property into a duplex at 925 Madison Avenue, R-10 zone.
Please raise our right hands. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give us the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Name and address, please.
Vcash Ram Hau, 925 Madison Avenue, Scranton, PA 18510.
Noreen Rambadou, 925 Madison Avenue, Scranton, PA 18510.
Okay, you guys may proceed.
All right, so I bought my single-family home a year ago, and it was set up as a duplex. Well, not a duplex. It was set up as a room and rental. So when I bought the house, it was already set up as a two-family. So I decided to rent the house as an investment, and the rental agency came. They took a look at the house, and they said how the house has a kitchen on the second floor, and a kitchen on the first floor. In order for you to get approved for the rental, you have to apply for a duplex. So I'm here to see if I can get approved for the duplex. I have a 3-car garage in the back of the house with a separate entrance on the street.
So how were these apartments going to be laid out? Because we didn't get no kind of diagram. How were these apartments? Up and down, side by side?
Up and down. The first floor has 2 bedrooms and a kitchen and a bathroom. And the second floor has 4 bedrooms, 1 kitchen, 1 bathroom.
What's on the third floor?
The third floor is the attic, 2 bedrooms.
Why is there a fire escape to the third floor then? Was it ever used as an apartment? Is there any utilities up there at all?
No.
I just, when I went out there, I went to the rear of the building, and I couldn't figure out why a fire escape was up to the attic window.
Yeah.
You plan on removing that?
You plan on moving it, yeah, if we have to move it.
Is there anyone living in the house now?
Currently on the first floor, yeah.
Just the first floor?
Yeah. Because I didn't want to do anything on the second floor because I'm waiting for approval.
And the garage out back is vacant?
Yeah, it's 3-car spaces.
Good. Abraham, is that ever listed as a multi-unit, do you know?
According to our records, no. That's why we actually went out there to confirm what the layout of the house actually was. So we went out there with rental, NAIC, I believe, fire, and to what it looks like, he was right. There was 2 kitchens, so automatically we have to consider it a 2-unit. But as far as any records in the past of it being a multifamily or it being rented out, there was none.
No, it was probably just put in without registering it. Where's the entrance
For the
to
garage?
get to the second floor apartment?
So when you walk in, there's the main door. So when you walk in straight, the first floor entrance is there, and to the right is the other one to go up to the second floor.
Is there a rear exit out of the second floor apartment?
If it's there what?
Is there a second exit out the back to the?
Through the basement, yeah, there's a second entrance to the basement.
For the second floor apartment?
No.
Do you plan on putting something in so they can get out?
Yeah, if I have to, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, definitely.
If they need it on the second floor. I don't think they need one.
Just for the board, I think he needs a variance, not a special exception.
Yeah.
I think it was read as a special exception. It should be a variance.
Yeah. So he needs to ask to change that to a variance?
Yes. You need
Yeah, I
to,
didn't know what the variance and because my first time doing it, so I didn't know what it was.
they're going to ask you to amend your application to a variance as opposed to a special exception. Are you agreeable to that?
If I have to redo it?
No.
Just
we
ask
could
us for a
amend
variance.
it
Yeah.
today, tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I amend it?
Yes.
Is there anyone here to give testimony on this case? There is not.
I just want to,
Could you raise your right hand, please? you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address, please.
My name is Jacob Weinberg. I work for the City of Scranton at 340 North Washington Ave. So I just wanted to point out in the conversion residential rules that we ask for on the behalf of the city that there is an additional parking spot added for each member. So if it is a 4-bedroom apartment in the top level, they would need parking proportionate to that. So the 3-car in the garage in the back is also potentially not sufficient. We also wanted to mention that without knowing or seeing the plans, there's no guarantee that that bathroom on the 2nd floor actually meets the sort of 70 square foot requirement that we have on the city. So we just ask that the zoning board takes into consideration those other factors.
So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
The new ordinance, I thought, required 1 parking spot per unit.
Yes, it requires 1 new spot shall be required for each new dwelling unit created in addition to any existing parking spaces.
Yeah, our ordinance says 1.
1.
1?
The new ordinance says 1.
Before it used to be 1.5 per unit.
The SAPA, the most recent one that we passed in 2023? Okay.
I mean, unless you show me something different, we'll go by something different.
I don't think it's a particularly important sticking point. The concern is actually greater that the apartment above has the requirements like the bathroom. So parking is something that I understand that the board is very aware of and takes into consideration, so we will leave that in your...
Well, wouldn't he need a CO before he even goes in there? I mean, if we approve it, he's still going to need a certificate of occupancy, so that comes back to the license inspection department to inspect that and make sure it's right.
Yes.
So I mean, if we approve it, it still falls in your lap.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to add about this second exit? Or
Mr. Olesk, I'm going to ask you a question. Since you're here. The code for, does that need a second exit coming out? No. He's going to have a second floor apartment. Okay, just a second floor. Do they need a second means of egress?
If they don't occupy the 3rd floor, no.
Okay.
If they're not occupying the 3rd floor, yes.
Okay. Thank you for clarity.
Is that apartment going up to the 3rd floor?
The other 2 bedrooms are in the 3rd floor.
On the 3rd floor?
Yeah.
All right, so now you have to put a second exit out the back.
Okay.
And it's got to be better than what's up in that house right now.
So it has to be from the 2nd floor, not all the way to the top, right?
Third floor.
3rd floor?
From the 2nd floor.
Okay.
Yeah. Since they're using the 3rd floor, the 2nd floor has to have a means of egress.
No, it's just 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I have no...
But does it matter since the 2nd and the 3rd are together, though? It's not like 2 separate, not like 3 separate apartments.
If I was living there, I want a way out if there's a fire in that house. So to answer your question, you need an egress out of that for that second unit. Well, I think that's going to come under code. Dan, we'll put in there as a contingency, but I'm sure the city will be inspected and everything before anyone goes in there, but that second egress has to be in place. And the garages are empty, you said, correct? There's nobody renting a bay or anything?
It's my personal garage, so it's completely empty.
Okay. We're good, Dan?
Yep. I've added the condition. I added the condition.
Good, thank you, sir. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Board Member DeAntona,
Yes.
Board Member Gattens,
Yes.
Board Member Morris,
Yes.
Chairman Walsh.
Yes, vote of 4-0, you've been approved. Good luck. Can we call the next case, please?
Number 4 on the agenda today is NDA Music LLC seeks variance to convert existing commercial space into a Wawa convenience store at 1130 Music Street, HC Zone.
Good evening, Board. My name is David Soffinelli. I'm representing the applicant NDA Music LLC. This regards the property at 1130 Music Street.
You're an attorney, I'm assuming?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
With me, I have Josh Seawald, who's the project engineer.
You want to swear him in now, or?
Yeah, just to clarify, I know you're talking about the development. This, before the board tonight, is actually the single setback variance, not the overall project. As you may recall, we've been before you several times before, and the bulk of the variances and other issues with the project had previously been approved. Tonight, we're talking about a setback from I-81 for a portion of the building as part of the development. I'm going to let Mr. Seawald address the applicable standards and the dimensions at issue here, okay?
Yeah, everything, all the variances that were needed were approved, but the Lot C on our new plan talks about a grocery store, and at its minimum has 13.4 away from the right-of-way of Route 81, I believe it is.
It is 81.
And then it goes out further from there, and that's what they need the variance for. Everything else is approved.
Right, it's just that store.
And how many feet was that, Dan?
13.4 at its smallest spot, and then it kind of triangles out.
What's our ordinance called? Yeah. What it should be?
It's 50 feet from the expressway.
You said 50. I couldn't find 50. I found 25.
25 sounds better.
That sounds. In any event, it's a limited portion of the property, but because of the nature of the land shape that put the building there, it's required for us for our purposes.
Mine, just for the record, I had 5.6B1 says 25 feet.
So if it's 25, do they need this?
Yeah, because they're at 13.4.
Okay. Come on, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address?
Josh Seawald from Dynamic Engineering Consultants, 1904 Main Street, Lake Como, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I was previously here on June 29th, 2022. We represented and presented in front of you the development for the Wawa gas station and food market, as well as the redevelopment of the ARC building that is on Music Street. Tonight's application is focused on the third component of the project. The plans that are in front of you, as you review them, it is that third building in the back. We'll call that the grocery retail building. So all of the other approvals that we had on June 29, 2022 in front of you, as well as the other two planning commission meetings that we had on 4/17/2023 and July 26, 2023, are all still intact. So we're not asking for any modifications or changes to the Wawa or the ARC facility. Essentially, the applicant, in working over the last couple of years, has looked forward toward the final aspect of this project, which is this third building. And that's what we're here for tonight before you. This third building in the back of the Wawa facility is a permitted use within your NC zone. We're going for essentially retail/grocery use. And due to the unique shape of the property, if you're taking a look at the plan before you, you could tell it's not a typical rectangular feature. It is L-shaped. The front corner is not our property, is a different neighbor's property. In addition to that, due to the I-81 ramp that comes off of the parcel, it chamfers the corner of the property. And that's the focus of the variance this evening. As you can see, our building does comply with a large portion of it, and then right as it gets closer towards that chamfered, unique shape of the property, we require the variance. Overall, we are greatly under your total impervious coverage that would be permitted on the lot. Under your total building coverage, we do provide vast buffering and landscaping around the overall development, comply with your parking, loading, and all other aspects of your ordinance. Essentially, what we're seeking and asking for you board members this evening to consider is that the uniqueness and the shape of the lot is the reason that we need this variance request for this prototypical building that complies with all the facets of your neighborhood commercial zone. I do have some other detail if there needs, but I thought that was a good opening so that we really focus in on this third building, and that really what we're discussing this evening is the singular variance for the unique shape of the property.
I have a question before we go any farther.
Please.
You're at 17,746 square foot for the building. Can that be reduced so you'd meet that without coming for a variance?
If we reduce the building, what would end up happening was changing the overall scope of the development. So could there theoretically be a different shape building? Yes, there potentially could be, but as I'm sure you've seen through various development projects, we like uniform as engineers, rectangular square shapes that lines up well with drive aisles, access aisles, and other features of the site. So what we tried to do in the corner and the chamfer there, we provided a rain garden, which is one of the stormwater management features. I can manipulate that to be a different shape. But when it comes to laying out a building and doing 90-degree corners, that's what we're asking for the board to consider.
I'm just looking at your layout there, if you're to rotate this building, and I take it, is that an entrance on the left-hand bottom corner? Is that what that is? Where you're looking for the reduction?
That is the rear loading area. The reason we cannot rotate the facility is because what is nice about the site is that we do have a nice new full movement driveway on Meadow Avenue, and then we have a 90-degree turn in our access aisle that services both the ARC, this future third building, and the Wawa. If you were to rotate that building, you would then create a pinch point in that corner of the parcel.
Did you have this building in mind when you came to us the first time?
No, sir. And when we presented before you, there was no design drawings in the back. So
My concern, I'll be straightforward with you, my concern. I know what type of grocery store you're going to put in there, and it's fine that you're putting one there, but we're increasing traffic again with this, by adding that grocery store in there. I mean, you have a great business. I mean, Wawa's known all over the place, and that's fine. But this traffic is emptying out into Meadow Avenue, am I correct, coming out of here?
So yes, so the plan before you, sir, shows that we do have a full movement driveway, and we're getting a little bit into land development, but I'm happy to answer those questions for you.
Yeah, I'm asking because I want them answered.
I'm certainly here to answer them. That's why the applicant has brought me here tonight. So a part of this plan was taken right of our land development drawings, and we do have a potential hearing with your planning commission on the 24th of this month. As you can see on this drawing, we show improvements on the Meadow Avenue right-of-way. Not just our driveway that we're punching out, but also striping and kind of modifications to their right-of-way. In addition to that, sir, in working with PennDOT and our HOP process on Moosic Street, we do have center turn lane widening that we're providing to improve the localized roadways with the development of our project. So when we did the HOP permit, not just for the Wawa, even though we did not show a building in the back, we got the HOP permit for a high fast food use, which is a much higher traffic generator. Yeah. We never presented that before either of these boards because we didn't have a tenant, but to secure from HOP, so we don't have to keep going back to PennDOT, we basically back calculated in. We worked with PennDOT, there are future improvements that are coming around this area, and then with the driveway movements that we proposed, whatever that threshold is. I'm happy to report that this retail building that we're putting in the back is substantially lower than what was approved with PennDOT for this higher fast foods type of use in the back.
Are you considering putting a traffic light at that exit onto Meadow Avenue? Is that part of your plan, or would you be willing to do it if the Planning Commission requires it?
I don't believe that intersection will trigger what's called a warrant analysis. It won't even be close for it. It's additionally way too close to the Meadow Avenue and Moosic Street. So the HOP permit that we obtained from PennDOT rigorously went through multiple cycles with us. They do have some improvements coming on the off-ramp and that interchange that we have with I-81 here. In addition to that, they restricted our driveway from Wawa to have no lefts out onto Moosic. And I agree with that because of the traffic situation that's going on. So the driveway at the Wawa allows a left turn in, a right turn in, and only rights out. Any left maneuver would have to go back through this retail building in the rear and then head over to our full movement driveway on Meadow Avenue, which is much further away from the signalized intersection with Moosic Street.
Thank you. I appreciate your answer.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone else here to give testimony on this case?
Good evening. It's Jamie Hailstone on behalf of Natal Inc., a neighbor, and Garrity Supermarket, also a neighbor. Both can be considered objectors as of for tonight. And I just have a couple questions for the developer. Just a clarification, you have received your HOP permit?
We have a draft permit. We have not issued what we call the developer's agreement and letter of credit, but they have approved the TIS phase as well as the geometry phase. So that final component has not been dotted yet.
And if you don't get the final HOP from PennDOT, all the traffic will have to go on Meadow Avenue, correct?
No, because the final stage that we're in with PennDOT is administrative in nature. Once they accept the TIS and then they accept the geometry design of the driveway, there is no more of a risk of not obtaining the permit. It's people signing agreements and posting bonds, essentially. So there is, in my professional opinion, in doing HOP permits, this driveway as currently depicted on the plan before this board and at the previous boards will remain.
You also mentioned that when the Planning Commission reviewed this, the supermarket was not a part of the plan, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay. And when will the supermarket part of the plan go before the Planning Commission?
I believe it is on April 24th. I can get the...
I actually need to talk to you afterwards. They're moving city council to that day, so we're exploring moving it to the next day, but it is this month.
Okay, thank you.
And just for clarification, nothing's been built, correct? All we're talking about are lines on paper at this point, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you could move those lines on the paper very easily, correct?
I'm not an attorney, but that seems like a very open and vague statement. When you say lines on paper, which lines?
You could redesign this to not require the variance tonight, correct?
No, sir. And we haven't gotten into the proofs of the variance. We were just giving an initial discussion, but I do not believe that you could design a retail facility on the corner chamfer of a building that would not require some types of variance.
And so you're not finished with your presentation?
There's, as I'm sure you know, there is justification you must provide the board when you talk about the unique physical circumstances. Is there any negative detriment to the character of the neighborhood and the surrounding property owners? I was going to give that at the end, but I wanted the board, because the plan has a lot of information on it, we've been here multiple times, I wanted the board to focus in on what we were really here for this evening. So we'll be providing a little bit more testimony on the justification to the variance.
I'll hold questions until after they explain their hardship.
Go ahead, guys. You could.
Certainly. So bear with me. The MPC asks any board and professional and applicant to review certain components of a project, and I'm going to go through them. So they ask us, are there any unique physical circumstances at the property that justifies this variance? I think it's evidently clear that the shape of the parcel, the I-81 ramp and the additional right-of-way they have taken to chamfer the corner of what would be a normally rectangular-shaped building is evident that there is a unique physical circumstance at the parcel. Then it says, do these physical circumstances render it difficult to develop the lots in strict conformity with the ordinance? And I would argue absolutely it makes it difficult to develop the lot. The applicant has shown that they have complied with all other sections of your robust ordinances: parking, lot coverage, building coverage, and a host of other items. The only thing we're seeking before you is this corner of a property that is uniquely shaped. So by definition, I certainly believe that this physical circumstance of the shape of the lot renders it challenging to develop in the corner of that property. Will the requested variance allow reasonable use of the property? Certainly, as I've mentioned, we're under building coverage and impervious coverage. The property has been designed well. We've obtained approvals from other aspects of the city as well as outside agencies. And we provide a nice open space, landscaping, and stormwater management facility, which I think would be an enhancement to the overall area. The next question is, has the applicant created a hardship at the property? Again, in my opinion, no. The applicant has not created this situation. They inherited the shape of this overall parcel. Will the variance requested alter the character of the neighborhood? In no way, shape, or form do I think that this variance will change the character of the neighborhood. If anything, the existing uses of the site being removed and the redevelopment of the property with permitted uses, complying with all other factions of the bulk variances, bringing successful businesses to this property will only enhance. In addition to that, with this development will come improvements to both Meadow Avenue and Moosic. I am going to steal a little bit of testimony that was here for previously at the Zoning Hearing Board and Planning Commissions, but the ARC facility is getting an upgrade, and they are a good, inherently beneficial planning use in my professional opinion. How does the proposed project, with the variance that we're seeking, fit in with this overall neighborhood? Overall, the variance that we're seeking is against an I-81 ramp. And again, in my professional opinion, there is no negative impact to the I-81 ramp. The overall rest of the track should be focused on, and we think it blends in well with all the other uses within the Meadow Avenue corridor. Will the variance requested impair development of any adjoining properties? Meaning, is this variance going to stop any one of our neighbors from redeveloping their parcel? The answer is no to that question. And this variance, building this building closer to the Chamford corner, is not going to stop I-81 or any of our neighbors on Meadow Avenue and Moosic Street. Are the proposed uses with the variance requested as presented injurious or hazard to the neighborhood or public welfare? Certainly not. Our uses are permitted uses within the NC zone. This is what the ordinance and your master plan has contemplated on this property. We're simply asking for a deviation due to the unique location and shape next to I-81. Finally, are the proposed uses with the variance requested in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the ordinance? I certainly believe it is, because all other aspects of the ordinance are being complied with. Actually, there could be an argument that we could develop potentially more on the property, but the applicant has not done that. The applicant has proposed a Wawa with the necessary features, and then the retail/grocery store building in the rear is on the smaller scale. The other lot lines allow 0-foot lot lines, 100% maximum impervious coverage. What we have done is we have shrunk the overall development, and simply going in traditional development standards, need a variance on this Chamford corner. Lastly, is the minimum variance necessary to provide relief? I absolutely believe it is. And the reason being is not that 13.4 is very particular. It's because if you take a look at the plan, we try to push this facility as far back as possible on the perpendicular southern rear property line. So that 13.4 doesn't mean the entire wall of the building is on the property line. It's just in this unique corner. As you heard from your solicitor, as you travel northbound on this property line, we then further comply with it. So the vast majority of the building is not actually in the area that we are concerned with. So overall, board members, it is in my professional opinion that the variance being requested has no negative impact to our property, the intent and zone and purpose that you have, and I also further believe that this layout is just good planning purposes, that with this slight deviation, you get a modern retail building that complies with all other aspects of your zoning, and you get a good site that now has stormwater management, full utilities, lighting, and landscaping that will be a vast improvement from what's out there today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just quickly, a clarification. What ordinance are you using? You made a reference to a 13.1. What ordinance was that from?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Solicitor and Mr. Negron. It is section 445. It essentially is the bulk standard attachment that says to permit, we are requesting the 13.4-foot setback from an expressway, in this case, Interstate 81, whereas what we initially had was a 50-foot setback. I'll defer that it was a 25-foot setback.
Yeah, I think
would be required.
the confusion is the new 2023 ordinance that's in effect now under 5.6.B1. That setback is now 25 feet as opposed to 50.
Thank you for clarifying. So 25 feet is required along an expressway. We are seeking 13.4 for a portion of the building.
Okay. You also said that you were careful that you covered all other issues in the ordinance, but the ordinance you're using is no longer in effect. Isn't that correct?
I would say the code section has been updated since 2023, but the intent is the same.
That wasn't my question. Are you using the old ordinance when you say to the board, we're fine on all the other issues?
Well, all the other issues have already been approved. This is the only issue that comes before us tonight,
Parking
which
has
is
not-
under the new ordinance. This is the only one that's under the new ordinance.
Parking has not been approved for this part of the project. That was approved on a Wawa, but parking has not been approved for the supermarket.
I do believe that we are compliant with the parking ordinance for a retail grocery store. And we do have a full set of land development drawings pending before the Planning Commission. And I am confident that the rigorous board engineer that they have hired would call me out if there are any other aspect of the project. We have received multiple review letters, and they have not identified any other variances, which is why we're here this evening. We actually submitted the application back in around December or January of this year. The reason that we're on this April application is because my firm has been working with the Planning Commission's board engineer. And that board engineer, we've had about 2 rounds of cycles of review letters. I am confident that if we did not comply with parking, they would have identified that, and I would be seeking a parking variance from this board. Overall, I do not believe the plans presented have any other variances that I'm aware of other than this building deviation.
That you're aware of, correct?
Yes, sir.
Nothing further.
Is there anyone else here to give testimony in this case? There is not.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Board Member DeAntona,
Yes.
Board Member Gattens,
Yes.
Board Member Morris,
Yes.
Chairman Walsh.
Yes. Vote of 4 to 0, you've been approved. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Can we call the next case, please?
The fifth we have on the agenda today is Timothy McAndrew seeks variance to operate a car lot with a garage for an inspection station at 2122 Washburn Street, R-10 zone.
So is this just for the, isn't the car lot already in
I'll-
operation?
I was going to add on, currently they do have a CO for auto sales.
So we're here for the
Yeah, we're here for
inspection
the,
station?
yeah, we're here for the inspection station and to, yeah, for the inspection station, that's correct.
You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Yes.
Name and address for the two of you, please.
Tim McAndrew, 2122 Washburn Street, Scranton.
Angel Gonzalez, 1230 North Main Avenue, Scranton.
Okay, guys, you may proceed.
So I have a small used car lot on Washburn Street in West Scranton. We sell mostly reconstructed cars. So we're looking to get an exception to do the enhanced inspections in-house instead of sending everything out.
So your garage is underneath the building?
Yes.
It's a one car?
Yes, well, 1.5. 1.5 car. It's a wide one car. Yeah.
One car bay. How many cars are you store outside of that are there for repair? Are you doing repairs or just inspection?
No, we just sales.
I'm sorry. So it's your cars that you're going to sell?
Correct.
For an inspection. You won't be doing any outside repairs?
For other dealers.
For some other used car dealers, yes. Not repairs, no, just inspections.
How many cars are you going to sit on the lot at one given time?
2 or 3. They're all scheduled in.
And none of the cars are going to be taken apart or
No,
parts
no
missing?
repairs, just
Tires
inspections.
missing? Okay. And are you going to have outside, I don't know if it's there now or not. I mean, I know you have the car lot there.
Yeah, there's outside lighting there now.
Okay.
Is there anyone here to give testimony on this case? There is not.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Board Member DeAntona,
Yes.
Board Member Gattens,
Yes.
Board Member Morris,
Yes.
Chairman Walsh.
Yes, vote of 4 to 0, you've been approved. Good luck,
Thank you.
guys. Just going to do a quick 5-minute break for a bathroom break.
He got fired. Yeah, he got fired. So these guys, you have a win-win. After 3 years, it doesn't matter. So now, you want? Yeah. What's the issue? I don't know this long and no, 13. What else? It's the last house on the right. Don't even right now. They hate that building so bad. It's not such. It's never such. That was simple. It's war. And that war. You're at the last house on the right. Where do you see the guns on? This lady said a big pimple on the first one. Yeah, I know the house. He just steps out the front. Yes, I know it's not. It's not legal. I said, it's not legally by you. Listen. George, don't get it.
Yo, Bob. Bob. Let's go. Just get me paid. I don't care about a raise. Ready? Okay, well, we're going to recall case number 1. I mean, it's been an hour. If he's not here, we're going to dismiss it. So is anybody here for Taris Aosta? Is Mr. Acosta here? He's not here, so I'm going to ask the board to vote to dismiss the request.
I'll make a motion to dismiss the request for the property on Euclid Avenue.
Second.
Board Member DeAntona?
Yes.
Board Member Gattens?
Yes.
Board Member Morris?
Yes.
Chairman Walsh?
Yes, case dismissed.
Sorry to make everybody wait around, but we had to give them enough time.
Okay, can we call the next case, please?
All right, 6 on the agenda today, we have Litman Straser seeks variance to convert single-family home into a duplex at 515 North Main Avenue, R-11 zone.
Raise your hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Name and address, please.
Alex Itzkowitz, 701 North Webster Avenue. Sure, Alex Itzkowitz, ITZ, KOWITZ, 701 North Webster Ave. I represent the owner of the property. We're looking to turn this single family into a two-family home. And Mr. Bingham here put in for the permits, and he's going to speak on that for us.
Gentlemen, about a month ago, we applied to turn the 1 unit into a 2 unit. So before I say that, I want to back up just a little bit. The new ordinance that came out now, we waited months, probably years, for Dunmore to sign this ordinance over. And it just seems that all the people that I'm talking to, no one really knows what is the ordinance where you can turn 1 unit into 2 units now. Does anybody, like I asked Abraham, he told me it's in the zoning, the new ordinance, so I got the new ordinance, he sent it to me, and I scoured through it, and I just simply couldn't find what it is, although...
Let me try to do that for you.
Let's do it.
Okay. Where you're going from 1 unit to 2 unit, under the ordinance, it's called a conversion apartment, and that would be under 6.3, which requires a special exception. And conversion apartment is where your alteration is limited to the interior of an existing structure. You're doing nothing to change the exterior of the existing structure. So, and as opposed to what we heard earlier, that particular case, they were in an R10 zone, which does not allow for a conversion apartment. So they needed a variance. You're in an R11 zone, which does allow for a conversion apartment by special exception. So you're under the special exception rules as opposed to the variance rules.
So what is the special exception that we're actually asking for in regards to parking, in regards to occupancy, in regards to square footage?
It's a little bit more than that. Under 6.3 of the ordinance, a lot of the things are, the zoning board has to find that the proposed special exception will not adversely affect health, safety, welfare of the residents where it's located, that it won't overburden existing public services, including water, sewer, et cetera, that it'll meet the use, all other aspects of the use, and it doesn't affect the neighborhood. Those are kind of what the 6.3 is talking, 6.3 C is talking about for what it here would be a conversion apartment.
Right, which 507 North Main Avenue would comply with that. We're R11, we're an R11 district. We have, 2 entrances going up, entrance going out the back. It's already pre-existing there. I'm not sure what at that point where we would. R11 city neighborhood mixed residential to arrange for urban residential neighborhoods that are medium to high density and contain a mixture of single, multifamily dwellings, on-street parking with minimal side yard setbacks, as well as ancillary institutional uses. So right around us, we have a beauty salon to the left, we have a Turkey Hill, we have a gas station, we have multiple gas stations right there, Rite Aid across the street, Family Dollar right there. So, I mean, we were under the impression, when I spoke with Mr. Oleski about it, we were kind of under the impression that you don't really need to come to zoning to convert from 1 to 2 at this point. But I guess I was corrected on that through Attorney Penetar, and asked for a special exception. So I believe that's what we're asking for here today, is a special exception to do such that, and I think we fit the bill for it. Hi, that's my thought, Mr. Gattens. I'm always going to aim for the. That's right. I got one. Doesn't always mean it's right, but I got one.
So what's the square footage of each apartment?
So the downstairs square footage is 970, and it's a mimic of the upstairs, the same thing. It's 970 feet, and there's also a basement in this as well. It used to be a store at one time, but it's vacant, and they don't plan on doing anything with it from this point on. It's a dirt floor, so we're not doing nothing with it.
So the apartment you're looking for is on the 2nd floor?
That's good. We submitted, I submitted the prints for it. Yeah, I submitted the layout for it, yeah.
I just want to be sure. And it does have a second egress, as we just went over?
It does, yeah. All due respect to one that was there, and what Mr. Penetar alluded to earlier, changing the alteration of the outside of it, there was an old set of steps. We're putting a new set of steps in there, so make it compliant with the codes.
What kind of parking do you have out back?
That's the problem. There's no parking out back. You know what I mean? That's what the whole idea of coming here today was for.
Okay.
As far as there's no parking next door too. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on.
We're not worried about next door tonight.
No, I'm aware of that. Yeah.
So where do the tenants park? Yeah.
Well, on the street, just like anybody else is parking. Everybody just parks on the street. So right now, so we can do it like this. If we leave it two family, or we leave it a single family, 5 people move in the house and there's 5 cars there. Where are they gonna park? I mean, now you have 5 cars, now you have 5 people parking. Or you have, two families and one upstairs, one downstairs, single family, make it a single family apartment. So I mean, that's where it's at.
Well, I'm be honest with you, I have trouble with the parking. Yeah. I mean, you've been before us enough and everything, and if it's one spot that you need it, we will bend it sometimes, to get a third unit in, and they're short one spot, we'll bend it, but this is just
So
totally...
what is the parking regulation for it?
Well,
with the new
according to
ordinance?
the new one, you'd need
2 spots.
2 spots
2 spots.
in the rear.
In the rear?
Yeah, it can't be on the street. You can't have street
So,
parking.
so right now, there's a house that it's gonna obviously be rented. Where they park? On the road? So they're allowed to park on the road at that point?
But you're coming for something new now.
No, and I understand. I'm just asking clarification. Again, we came here, we paid $400 for clarification because we couldn't get it anywhere else. I should have called Mr. Penetar. I'm under the impression that we waited for this whole ordinance thing. Everybody's like, oh, they're gonna pass the ordinance. Dumbo's holding out, they're sticking out, they're gonna pass the ordinance. They pass the ordinance, they make it worse. What did you have, 1.5 cars before? Now you dropped it to 1?
Yeah.
Is that right?
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. So you dropped a half a car. And from your own admittance, Mr. Gattens, there is no such thing as a half a car. Remember earlier testimony? That's the truth. There's no such thing as a half a car. So, I mean.
You'll be surprised what people can do,
Yeah, I understand.
No, Mr. Mayor, I mean, you come before us a lot and everything, and
Yeah.
we haven't, I'm speaking for myself, not the rest of the board. I'm a no vote on this right now,
Sure.
so,
I understand.
with the
that.
parking.
Is there anyone else to give, here to give testimony in this
Somebody else
case?
wants to give in testimony. Hold on.
There is not.
You want to say something?
I'm sorry, you can come on up.
Here, watch.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Name and address, please.
My name is Pat Moran, 620 Campbell Street, Scranton, Pennsylvania. So I went by the property today, and I noticed that in the rear, there are 2 porches in the back. Am I looking at the right house?
No.
Okay, so I must be looking at the wrong house then, because it had the covered-up basement, the mattresses and everything outside. It has 2 mailboxes on it. That's not 5.
Where's Campbell Street?
Southside.
Yeah, we're on West Side. We're on
I
Main.
understand that. I know exactly where it is. I'm
Yeah,
just
Dan,
inquiring.
do we,
But
somebody-
it says it's 5.
Just hold on one second for me, please.
Sure.
That we usually don't take from across town, right, Dan?
That's correct.
Unfortunately, you have to be in this area
got
to
it.
speak.
Good
Thank
luck.
you, though. Thank you.
Just to clarify one thing, there isn't actually mattresses and there isn't 2 mailboxes on the back of the house. This is all frontage on Main Avenue, so, I don't know.
Thank you.
Can I make one more comment?
Sure.
I think what Shawn is trying to bring out is like when it says single and multifamily dwellings with on-street parking in this R11 zone, does it still require additional parking spots?
That, I'm sorry. Anytime anything comes before us for like an apartment or housing complex like that, it's off-street parking. We can't tell you can park on the street,
But the ordinance says.
The
it's
ordinance
for-
is-
So is that grandfathered in, is what you're saying? So anything new would require what, and that's in section 6.3.
Yeah,
You didn't read that in section 6.3.
A single-family house doesn't require off-street parking. Once you're beyond that, it does require off-street parking. Now, most of those properties will be grandfathered in, they've been apartments for years, so we can't go backwards in time. But anytime something new comes before us, now here you're trying to convert from a single-family house to a duplex, yeah. So now that's something new, so now the new ordinance does kick in.
So of the one parking spot per unit, right?
One parking spot per unit.
Okay.
And we knew that. I mean, we knew that could have been.
We just weren't sure if the R11,
It's all over. It doesn't make a difference what zone it's in.
Make a motion? Good.
I'll make a motion.
can I ask for a continuance?
Yeah, it's up to you.
Great, thank you.
Vote on the continuance?
Yeah.
I guess maybe we could figure out something if we can. I don't know how, but.
Let's see.
All right, let's see.
Give it a shot.
Yeah,
All right, good.
that's all we can do is give it a shot.
I'll make a motion on the request for continuance by the applicant.
Second.
Board Member DeAntona?
Yes.
Board Member Gattens?
Yes.
Board Member Morris?
Yes.
Chairman Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, the other way.
Granted a continuance.
Just remember, so you know, that parking spot that you're going to try to come up with has to be within so many feet of your building.
How many?
Dan, 200?
I think it's 200, right, Dan? Is it 200?
Unless they change that. I didn't look for that one.
Just go with 200 for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could we call the next case, please?
Number 7 on the agenda today, Anthony Wascar seeks variance to recognize property as a 4-unit home at 1413, 1415 Academy Street, R-10 zone.
Could we raise our right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
Name and address, please.
My name is Josue Rodriguez. Address will be 1412 Academy Street. And I'm representing my stepfather, Anthony Wascar.
Okay,
And,
what's your name again? I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Josue Rodriguez, Josue.
Rodriguez.
Yes. And I'm just here for approval of you guys of the 4-unit home on 1413 Academy Street and 1415 Academy Street.
How many units are in there now?
What was that?
How many units are in that building now?
There are 4 units.
A little clarification, when we were out there, that house, we came out there because we got reports of it being a rooming house. So there is a couple units in there, but there are also efficiencies on the right side, so 1415 Academy. So it's a little bit more than that. They're just looking to recognize it as a 4-unit and then get rid of all the rooming, the rooms for rent in the property.
So hang on a second, let me get clarity on this. So right now, it's a rooming house, basically?
Yeah, it was being rented out illegally as a rooming house. We got out there, me, rental, NEIC, and fire. We did our inspections and we confirmed that it was a rooming house. Especially on the right side on the 3rd floor, there was about at the top of my head, I think it was 4 or 5 efficiencies just on the 3rd floor alone. So when we spoke to him, he said that he's going to try to get it recognized as just a 4-unit and remove all the rooms that are being rented and just keep it as 2 units on one side, 2 units on the other.
But if that's what it's listed as, a multi-unit,
Well, actually, I'm
doesn't
sorry.
he just have to get rid of them and rent it out? It's 4 units?
No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. Right now it's currently shown as a 2-unit.
2-unit double?
Yeah,
Okay.
2-unit. Yeah.
But we want to make it into 4 units, and we also have parking a spot in the back, about 4 parking spot for those 4 units. And there's also parking in the front, but I know it's city parking,
So these units you're putting in, are they going to be on 1 unit on the 1st floor?
And 1 unit on the 2nd floor.
The 3rd floor is not going to be used?
So the first floor and the first floor left and right, that's the only 2 units that they're renting right now. But there's, if I'm not mistaken, there's another 2 units upstairs, but they're not rent yet because we're just waiting on you guys to approve.
No, what I'm asking you is in the future.
In the future?
What's your plans to rent it out? So there's going to be 2 units on the 1st floor. Then you plan on renting?
in the future, he's just trying to plan like to build the 4 apartments and just rent it, you know what I mean?
Well, I just need you to answer a question. So
Yeah,
just
sorry.
listen. I understand what you're saying. Your 3rd floor that's being used now, it was being used illegally as a rooming house. Do you have any plans to use that 3rd floor for anything?
No.
Is there utilities up in that 3rd floor? Is there, like, not utilities, is there a kitchen, a bathroom?
Yeah, there's kitchen, bathroom on the 3rd floor.
Do you plan on removing them?
¿Lo va a remover o no?
No, porque no sabe si ellos le van a dar la autorización de dejarlo así o le dan la autorización de ponerlo de puerta.
All right. What is it? Anthony said that if you guys give the approval, he will not. He won't use the 3rd floor for nothing.
Okay, I get that, but I need an answer to my question. If we approve this, will you remove
the 3rd floor?
the kitchen and
the
bathroom
kitchen,
up there
bathroom.
and remove it? So when the city goes in to inspect it, they'll be out of there.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Well, do you know what size the square footage of each apartment is going to be?
To be honest, I don't know really much about it. I'm just here to represent him because he don't really speak no English and he's out of the country right now.
Abram, you said you were in there, so is this currently set up as a 4-unit or not? It have to be redesigned to make this a 4-unit, I'm assuming? Because you said it's set up as efficiencies?
So it is a confusing property. So there's 2, we have it recognized as a 2-unit. When we went inside there, I can see where they're coming from by wanting to convert it into a 4-unit, because on the left side, there's 2 units. On the right side, there's 2 units as well, but the 2nd floor was being rented out as one, let's say the 2nd floor was just the rooms that were being rented out, and then they had a shared living space. They had a kitchen and a bathroom shared. Then when you went up the stairs to the 3rd floor, that's when you see the multiple efficiencies, which each one had their own individual bathroom and kitchen. That's just the 3rd floor on the right side, because so on the right side of the property, that 3rd floor extends to the left side, but you can only gain access to it from the right side, and you have to go in. You have to pass through the 2nd unit, the 2nd floor, in order to get to the 3rd one.
Or were the units 600 square feet?
I can't
Take
say
away
for
the
sure.
boarding rooms and just look at the floor plan. Would you say it's 600 square feet?
I didn't look at the floor plan. I don't have a floor plan to look at.
No. I mean, when you're in that building, what you're seeing, remove that. Like, and you're thinking that it was. In your opinion, would that 2nd floor apartment that his father plans to put in, would it meet the 600 square feet requirement?
It's hard for me to say yes or no, because you're trying to tell me to put a number on a space that I visited like a couple months ago, like a month or 2 ago. So it's hard for me to gauge exactly how big the rooms are in terms of square footage. But I will say on the 3rd floor, no chance. I mean, it was extremely small. On the 2nd floor, I mean, it's possible they can argue it, because I believe that that was probably already there for some time, but I can't say for sure if it was around 600 square feet. I'm sorry.
Do you want to ask? Yeah.
Is there anyone here to give testimony on this case? Come on up, Chris. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Jack Powell, 2618 Luzerne, but I own the house across the street from the property.
Okay.
David Coaches, 1417 Academy Street. I'm right next door to the property.
We looked on to try to figure out who the owner of the property was, and it comes back to a woman from Pittston Avenue for the assessor's office. And it says that it's address undeliverable, so we don't actually know who owns the property. So,
Well, for what I know,
Up to the microphone, please.
from what I know is that Anthony, he's the real owner from that property, and he also has a property up on, well, my mother's not here, but up on Piston Avenue, right next to the convenience store.
what's her name?
Who?
Your mother?
My mother? Sarah Rodriguez. It's not in there.
No, this is the name on the deed.
Excuse me, sir. Can I ask you a question real quick? The information you got for the owner, did you get it from the assessor's office or the recorder?
Just go back to the microphone if you don't mind.
I got the deed from the recorder of deeds, and I got that from the assessor's office, and they're both the same.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
But we don't know who owns it, first of all. And he's asking for a variance, and we don't know who owns it. But our main concern was the parking, because if you know Academy Street, our plows can't even fit through it because it's so narrow and it's limited parking. Now he's saying that it's only one car instead of a car and a half for the back. They did dig out the thing, and he has there, but you're talking, we've been jammed there with the people that he was renting to as roomers. And he lives next door to
I
me.
live next door. There is 3 parking spots right now that they have out back. There's not enough to put a 4th car unless they dig into either my property or the adjacent property going the other way to 1411. Right now, there is still currently people living on the 3rd floor, and there's still people living on the 2nd floor in a room for rents and stuff on the 2nd floor. And I do know.
Hang on one second.
Yeah.
How long has your father owned that property?
¿Hace cuántos años lleva la propiedad?
La propiedad yo creo que tiene como unos 10 años por ahí.
About 10 years already with the property.
Before we go any farther, I think she needs to be sworn in as well.
Well, she's not speaking.
But she's interpreting those.
Yeah, we can swear, right?
Yeah, swear in.
Mr. Powell, what deed is on that deed that you had? The date of the deed. Just tell me the date of the deed.
The deed is July of 2020. If you want, I can get it. I have copies of that.
Sure, absolutely. You want to raise your right hand?
¿Usted?
Yo no, pero usted lo voy a traducir.
Ponga su mano derecha.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
I sure.
Name and address?
Seida Rodriguez. My address is 12 Academy Street.
So the owner of this property, when does he come back?
¿Cuándo viene el dueño de la
Él
propiedad?
regresa creo el miércoles.
Este miércoles.
El otro.
Next Wednesday. He comes
Okay.
back next Wednesday.
I think what we're going to need here is we're going to need some plans for that building to see the square footage. We're going to need to see some drawings, and we'd like to see the owner himself come in.
Yeah, that's what I told him also, to explain me how many square foot there was on the property, like on each apartment, this and that. But he just told me like I was gonna come here just for a hearing about the 4 units, this and that, you know.
I think he should also bring a copy of his deed.
Yeah, his proof of ownership, bring in
Yeah.
too, please.
Yeah.
One other thing was,
The ownership on the house, I was going to say the previous owners that were there, because I grew up in the neighborhood. I was there for 30-some years now. We grew up with the kids in the house, so I do know on the one side of the apartment there is an up and a down where the people used to live, and on the other side it was 2 apartments, one upstairs, one downstairs. The next owner bought it and came in, and she just recently sold it, which was about 2020 when she sold it, because her daughters were still living there up until 2020, and I know she still owned it, and she was there cleaning up the yard. So I don't know how he owned it for 10 years when I know that I know the previous owners, they were always there and stuff.
and it was just that.
And it was condemned on the one part on the bottom. I think you guys condemned the downstairs apartment?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Is that still condemned?
I believe it still is.
Because all the stuff's ripped off the thing, and there's been people, like, you know, stuff there. So that's why I didn't know if anybody's in there, but I know the permits and everything, the condemned things are all ripped off the building.
Well, I'll give the issue to code enforcement to pass by to see if, you know, if they ripped it down, they'll put it back up.
And what about the apartments that were on the third floor? Are they supposed to be emptied out, or what's the?
Yeah, those were supposed to be emptied out. We had actually set them up with UNC, the United Neighborhood Center, to house the individuals who were in the rooming house and the illegal units. Past that, you know, it was supposed to be completely empty until they got some sort of approval from us stating that those units can now be rented out, or it could be recognized as a four unit.
Well, I have a concern, and I'll voice it. I'm concerned that this gentleman who's not here tonight has owned this since 2020, if that's what you're saying. So for 3.5 years, he's still letting an illegal rooming house operate in that. What's convincing me that if we give him 4 units, it's not going to go back to that again? And I have a major concern, and I have a concern that he didn't see fit to come here tonight. He sent a representative that really knows nothing about it. So I'm going to vote no on a continuance. I mean, let's vote it, and if they don't have the decency or the courtesy to come before us and argue their case and everything, and I'm concerned that, like I said, that this for 4 years, almost 4 years now, this has been run illegally in the city of Scranton. But that's up to the city. They'll inspect it, they'll have to inspect it in whatever codes, and that's a top to bottom inspection, if I'm correct on that. Yeah. No, I'm gonna vote on it. I make a motion, we vote on it?
Second?
Board Member DeAntona?
No.
Board Member Gattens?
No.
Board Member Morris?
No.
Chairman Walsh?
No. Vote of 4 to 0, you've been denied. Thank you. Can we call the last case, please?
All right, last case for the day. Plisco / Khabib George seek variance to convert 6 lots, with 2 of them having a principal structure, into an apartment building with a building height relief of 7 feet at 406 Davis Street, R-9 zone.
Raise our right hand, please. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address?
Patrick McLean, business address 711 Davis Street, Scranton, PA.
Is going to speak to?
Thomas Navage, a member of Delray Properties, who's looking for the development, 3626 Lawrence Ave, Moosic, PA, 18507.
I'm sorry, what was your last name again?
Navich.
You may proceed, guys.
Thank you. We're here tonight before you to discuss a project, the first phase of the project for the developer Delray Properties. This project is located off of Davis Street. It's between Cedar Avenue, Crane Street, and Murphy Court. It's a little bit less than 1 acre. It's between the People's Security Bank and the Divine Mercy Parish and St. Joseph Center. The property is zoned mixed residential. The proposed project includes 2 buildings of high-end luxury apartments, 12 units each, totaling 24 units on the property. We're requesting a variance for maximum building height. Your ordinance allows 35 feet. We're proposing a 3-story building. The only purpose for this variance is that we could put a sloped roof in to blend in with the neighborhood surrounding. It is possible we could put a flat roof in, but we thought it'd be more appealing to the neighbors and to the city to blend in a little bit better and provide a more aesthetic appearance for the neighbors and for the residents. We have a long way to go in the process. This is the first. We still have full land development. The City of Scranton, City Engineer, Lackawanna County, like on a county conservation district, DEP. So we've got all these other processes we still need to get started on, but this is the first step in the process.
Do you own the property?
Yes.
What's your, looking at your plan where the building's actually going to go, what's your distance from that home, I guess, that's going to be left there?
I don't have an exact distance, but it does meet ordinance requirements for setbacks, for landscape buffers, for parking setbacks. And
Why don't you have that measurement?
I could scale it off.
I mean, you know, it's a question that's going to get asked at a zoning board meeting.
I could say approximately 20 feet.
On each side or the back?
So that's from the corner of the property line to the new building.
And how about on the sides?
That
what you're talking
20
about,
foot
the 20
is the closest. Approximately. That's, again, I'm trying to scale it off a plan. The rear yard setback in that location is 25 feet, and the side yard setback in that location is, apologize, I'm going to get the full-size plan open. So the rear yard is 25 feet, side yard is 4 feet. So we do meet those requirements with these proposed buildings.
Yeah, the setbacks for both the Davis Street side and the Crane Street side do meet the setbacks.
Yep. Now, I was concerned your setbacks around that home that's sitting there. Your traffic coming into the parking lot is coming off of that alleyway in the rear, Murphy Court?
Yeah, the main entrance is going to be on Murphy Court. There's another smaller parking lot off of Cedar Avenue.
Okay, I see it there.
How many bedrooms are these units going to be?
There's 2 bedrooms. There'll be 2 bedrooms, 2 full baths, hardwood floors, granite countertops. We're going to be doing the longer windows. We want to do something unique for that corner because it is a very visible corner. We have been in the business for over 25 years. We have complexes down in Music for over 20 years, 3 complexes, impeccable places. We run 100% occupancy. We're just investing right now over $20 million over off of Oak Street in Taylor, where we have 3 phases. Our first 2 phases have been completed with 48 units, high-end luxury apartments ranging 2,000 plus. We run 100% occupancy right there, and we're starting our 3rd phase over there right now.
How many square feet do you think?
These are approximately about 1,200 square feet.
And you say you want to do 3 floors. Is there going to be an elevator in these?
Yes, we meet everything as far as with our fire codes, elevators, everything like that. Like our engineer said, we're going everything by code. Like I said, the only thing we're here for is the height variance, only because we want it to blend in better with that corner. We do have the church next to us, which everyone knows the height of that there. We did own the property in front, which we did sell to People's Bank. When we bought the property, we had a lot of opportunity to do a lot of different things. We always got a big pushback, and that's natural. We understand that. So we wanted to do something. We could have went with a Rite Aid. We could have went with commercial units. We could have went with a car wash. We could have did many different things, but we went with something that we know is going to fit in with the neighborhood. It's a high traffic corner. It's going to look fantastic. We put the bank in the front. We're going to blend it in the back. And I think Minooka is in need of some high-end rental units. I know if I was a resident, I had a kid moving back, I wanted to come back to my parent or something like that, I'd want to be right in my backyard.
Is there a reason why you didn't acquire the house that you're building around?
I don't think it's appropriate right here to speak about that. I mean, we did have negotiations. They did fall through. And like I said, I have no animosity with anybody or anything, and I don't want to cause any animosity.
So I have a question. I mean, maybe just a little confused on, you're looking to go up to 42 feet so you can have a slope roof. Is there going to be a 3rd floor with apartments?
Yes.
So how high, take the 7 foot off, that would create a flat roof. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay.
And we would meet ordinance requirements for height, which is 35 feet.
Yeah.
So then they wouldn't need any variance for any of this project besides the height?
Yeah, I'm looking, they're in an R9 town mixed residential, which apartment buildings is a permitted use. So they can put the apartment buildings in there. An apartment building under the ordinance is defined as a building or buildings designed for occupancy for 3 or more families. And it goes on beyond that,
Right.
but that's the crux of it is, so really the only variance they need is for the height. They meet the setbacks, they meet the usage, they meet pretty much everything else.
And it's a total of 24 units?
Correct.
Correct? So you have the parking?
Yes.
The only concern I have, I mean, and it's, the rest of the plan looks fine, is the traffic flow that's going to come out of Murphy Court and try to get out on Davis Street. I bank at that People's Bank, and it's murder getting out of there, you know, to try to get out onto that street.
Just to answer your question on that, we did have, when we did sell our property to People's Bank, we did have the HOP already approved for Murphy's Court, and we went in for a higher usage at that point. We were approved. So the HOP is in place for Murphy's Court.
Well, I agree with you. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. You know what I mean? I'm just,
That's why we're trying to bring all of our traffic in from that side, because the bank closes at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, so all of our activity we're keeping on the other side of the street.
And it does appear to be quieter when you compare it to Cedar Avenue. Cedar Avenue's got the church on the one side, so it does get busier. People park all over Cedar Avenue. Nobody parks on Murphy Court. It's just
well, I know they
quiet.
don't park. I'm just saying.
In and out of
trying-
Davis Street.
Your tenant's trying to get out. I mean, it's backlogged enough. At the right time of day, it travels down towards Taylor, the traffic. So it's just my personal observation. It's not.
I think one of the big issues some of the residents are going to talk about is how tight Cedar Avenue is there for parking. The church is there. You can hardly drive through that street when church is going on. There's no parking on that street. And I think they're going to be concerned about the overflow. If your tenants, if they have 2, 3 cars, well, where are they going to park?
Understood. We provide more than ordinance requirements. We're providing 26 stalls, 24 is required, 1 per unit. And yes, I do agree. There are people parking on Cedar Avenue right now. I'll be honest, I haven't been there on a Sunday, so I'm not sure exactly how difficult it can be. But there's also, Crane Street does have, nobody parks there now, but the right-of-way is wide enough. It's 20-plus feet, so I'm not saying that that's even an option or a consideration or even allowed by the ordinance, but it is a fallback if there is additional spaces needed.
Yeah. Open it up.
Is there anyone here in the audience to give testimony on this case? Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Richard Petchkowski, 308 Crane Street, retired Scranton Police Sergeant, 38 years with Scranton.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I have quite a bit to say. That's why I'm here today. I live at 308 Crane, and I got a lot to say about this gentleman trying to put 2 apartments there, 3 stories high. He might as well shut my house right down. I won't have anything to look at. Put the walls right around my house and lock me right in. That's about what he'll do. Exactly what he'll do. I won't be able to see a thing. He wants to put 3 levels up there. You want to put a single-family home there, that's fine. But you want to put 3 levels up? Do you want that there? Any one of you? I don't think you want it there. I put 38 years with the city in. I'm retired now, almost 5 years. I want to enjoy my retirement. I don't want to put up with nonsense that this guy wants to do. He had a house there that the Surges owned. I saw what happened before he tore it down. We had our radio cars there how many times? A guy died there, drug overdose. I can tell you a lot of things that went on. A person got bit there by pit bulls that were running around. My dog was attacked by the pit bulls. This guy did nothing to stop any of it. Not a thing that he had that house there. Thank God it's torn down now. Thank God it's down. but it took a bit to get it down. He couldn't care less about what was going on around that house. I saw drug activity going on. I tried to get our guys around that house enough to do something. I saw the cars coming and going. I live right there. I knew what was going on. Do I have to put up with that nonsense? He's going to put apartments there? Do you want that? I don't want that. This is my home. I don't want that nonsense there. I don't think anybody wants that. This is ridiculous. And especially he tells me he's going to put 3-level apartments up there. And the worst thing, you guys are talking about parking. You better talk about the traffic. He's talking about parking on Crane Street. I'll be damned if I'm going to let people park on my sidewalk. It's not going to happen. He thinks they're going to park on my... There's no parking right now when the church is there. People can barely get through Crane Street. Maybe you ought to come back and take a look at it. Because if a fire truck had to come through there, they would tear cars apart. I live there. I know what's going on. Maybe you people ought to take a look for yourselves and see what it looks like. Because I know. I live there. And I've been living there since 1981. I pay high taxes like everybody else. And I think I deserve to live in a place where I can enjoy my living until I actually go. And I don't think I have to put up with this nonsense. Believe me. I know some of you guys, and believe me, I don't think it's right that I should have to go through this. Believe me, I am hot about it, big time. I dealt with this gentleman before when he tried to do this commercially, and I don't even want to say what he said to me. He said to me what he was going to have in the house until he tore it down, and he did. He did exactly what he told me he was going to do, and he did. He actually made basically a threat, and I so told him, you don't want to threaten me, I'm a cop. Don't threaten me. So I'm going to put up with this nonsense. I don't think I should have to do that. Believe me. I don't want my property devalued over putting something like that. I don't think I should have any of this nonsense. Believe me. Again, like I said, I lived there. I've been living there. I gave my life 38 years on the streets. I started walking the beat in this city. And I really worked for 38 years on the street, in the radio car, and I know what it's like out there right now. And believe me, it's terrible, and I'll say that. And like I said, I don't think I deserve to have this happen to me with a guy doing this. And again, and one other thing I got to say about that I got away from for a second is about the traffic there. He puts those buildings up, you're going to have a bad accident there. Because traffic comes through there and they don't like to stop for those stop signs. So he puts a building up like that, I can guarantee you, you're going to have fatalities there. Mark my words, you're going to have fatalities. Take it to the bank if you let that happen. Again, I have no problems with a single-family structure. I have big problems when you're talking about putting big apartment buildings up there. Again, I don't think I deserve that at all. I don't think my family deserves that. I don't even think my daughter next door and my son-in-law deserve that at all. That's all I have to say to you, gentlemen. Believe me, like I said, we had a woman that was bit by pit bulls there. We had my dog that was attacked by pit bulls there. This gentleman didn't give a darn about what happened. He could care less. And if you think he's going to put people in those buildings and he's going to care about what those people do, I beg to differ with you. He won't. I'm telling you as a police officer, and I'm being honest. Take it to the bank, gentlemen. Take it to the bank.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Britton Banal, 310 Crane Street, Scranton, PA.
Thank you.
I just want to attest to living in the neighborhood for 15 years and being catty-corner to that apartment, or to that home that went from a very beautiful single-family home back down to a horrific slum by the end, as to seeing the drugs, seeing the decline of the house, and seeing the lack of upkeep from the management of that apartment, of that rental, leaves me zero faith that putting an apartment building in there, that there will be that upkeep to it. Now, put in some homes, yeah. Put in some townhomes where people are going to buy them and actually like put some investment in and some care into the neighborhood, yeah, that would be a great idea. I have zero faith in his apartment buildings actually maintaining a level that would make the neighborhood better than worse. That decline over the years was just sad and difficult to see. And it was a blessing. The last year and a half with the house not being there and me not having to call the cops because their dogs are barking at all hours of the night, or any other questionable activities are coming in of cars pulling in late at night, stopping for a second, somebody running in a house, going around the block, getting back out of the car, going in. We all know what's going on when that's taking place. So seeing all of that, zero faith that that apartment building will be something good to our neighborhood. So please keep that in consideration as things move forward with this project, because they're still very early in this project. So some major tweaks could take place, and this could be a great thing for Minooka, but at this level, with this management, it will not be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dan. Sorry, Dan? For clarity, we're not here if the building can go or not go.
Yep, that's right.
We're only here for the height of the building.
That's right.
And I hate telling this to everyone that's sitting there, I'm picking up from what everyone's saying. In the use for that property, it's permitted. They're here just to get a variance to raise that height up to 42 feet. They're allowed 35 feet, and as they're stating, that 35 feet is going to be a flat roof. So the only argument we have here tonight is the height of that building. Do we keep them at 35 and let them put a flat roof up, or do we allow them to go to 42 and put a slope roof up to try to match, as they stated, the houses that surround that area? I mean, I hear your compassion and everything. It's up to Mr. Walsh if we continue with this.
I think the people that came, they want to speak.
Yep.
Anyone else here to give testimony? Come on. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Robert McGuire, 3214 Dowd Avenue. And I, like Mr. Pachkowski, came tonight under the impression that we would be able to do something about the fact that they were even going to build the apartment, but unfortunately that isn't the case. But I do think there is something, I don't know if you'll agree with me, about the quality of the neighborhood. When you build, and I realized this sitting in church last Sunday, the beautiful stained glass windows of the church, when the sun comes through, it just makes it a great place to be. And when they go 42 feet high, that's not going to happen. It's going to block the whole, the ambiance of the church, and the whole way the neighborhood appears is going to change. And I think that's something to consider with regard to, you know, the quality of the neighborhood, the quality of what goes on there. And I just don't think we need 3-story buildings in a residential neighborhood that it's primarily single-family homes. That's what I got.
Thank you.
Is there any way you could change your floor plan of this and maybe pull your buildings back closer to the alleyway and pull off of that house that's there? And I get what they're saying. I'd be fighting in my own neighborhood if something that high was going in, and it's changing the structure of the neighborhood. I mean, we're all for trying to get apartments and everything like that, but we dealt with this on Diamond Avenue where we asked them to pull their building back away from the street because neighbors had concerns. It's similar to what we're hearing here tonight. So anyway, we could go back and look at this and see if there's a way to change it and maybe put your parking lots in the front and pull away from that church and pull away from this house a little bit so they do have the light of day.
So as I look at the plan, there is some space between the building and the building setbacks. There is definitely the opportunity to move it a couple feet. I mean, it's not significant, but absolutely opportunity to move it a couple feet.
If you know, I'm looking at a non-detailed drawing, we'll say, you know, if you swung them around, I mean, is that possible?
That's something we can investigate. We did look at it a little bit, but that's absolutely something we can investigate. And that was the goal of the plan. And there's going to be full landscape with landscape buffer.
Well, I mean, the landscape is good. I mean, that'll look nice and everything, but their concern is the people that go to, I'm going to say St. Joseph's Church, you know, the name from before, but it is blacked out. I mean, it's going to be blacked out by a 35 or 42-foot building. This is why we say this all the time up here. I wish when a project like this comes through that the developers or whoever would talk to the neighbors beforehand and explain what's going on and come to more of an agreement. You know, maybe they have ideas that you could work with, or, you know, maybe there's things you could propose to them that they be settled on. I mean, I truly get what they're feeling, and I'm sure you do as well.
Well, I'm sure you guys wouldn't want to live next to that house that you had going on there, because I lived there too.
We went through this on every one of our projects, and you could go to any one of our neighbors, you could go to any one of our projects, and look at our maintenance, and look at our upkeep, and talk to any one of the neighbors, and we have never had a complaint in over 25 years.
But they could only see what you did there with that house.
You could go down to our Elm Street, Apartments and Music, and we have the same scenario. Okay, and we have the same questions and concerns about the traffic. And you could go talk to any one of those neighbors on any one of those streets, any one of those developments, and you will not hear one negative word. I mean, I understand the concern of the residents, it's understandable. But progress is progress, and we're permitted. And we're trying to do something good here by trying to make the building nicer looking for the neighborhood. I mean, you could have had a developer that came in here and didn't give two craps about Scranton or about Manuka or about the neighbors. We're not that developer.
We're not saying you are.
I myself spoke about, we're not that developer.
We're not saying you are. I'm just trying to come to a little bit of a compromise here. You have the right to build there. We know that. I'm just trying to think of a way that we can compromise a little bit. I'm not trying to add any additional costs on your project or anything like that, but to compromise so you're happy in the end, and they're at least a little bit happy. You know, that the light of day is going to shine on these houses a little bit, you know. That's your call, it's not my call.
We understand, we appreciate, and like I said, our engineer will 1,000% take a look at everything.
Good, good.
Here, come on, John. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address, please.
John Finnerty, 2926 Collery Avenue, Scranton. I'm here tonight to object to the proposed development, and I think I speak for the 25-plus people that are in the room here that all took time out of their busy schedules to come here tonight to see what this development is about, because as you aptly pointed out, none of us knew what it was about, so we had to come here to find out. Certainly, putting a 3-story apartment building on that property in a residential neighborhood is objectionable. It doesn't fit in with the character of the neighborhood. I understand you're saying it's a permitted use on that property. That's fine, but not 3 stories. 3 stories is not a permitted use for the height that they're looking for. So if they're coming to the board here tonight looking for a variance, they have to prove their case. They have the burden of proof, right? And Attorney Penetar will tell you what that standard is.
Well, let's hang on a second. So they can come here as a permitted use for 35 feet.
35 feet, not
35
42.
feet. Not 42. So I'm just saying, so we understand each other.
Right.
They're looking for that 7 foot, according to their testimony, and I mean, I'm just telling you their testimony, is to put a slope roof on it to raise it up 7 foot and pitch the roof. If we turn down the 7 foot variance that they're requesting, The building's going to still be 35 feet.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I'll be the first to say, I wouldn't want it right next to me. You know, I mean, that's why I'm trying to see if they could maybe change them buildings a little bit and get some daylight in there. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's a permitted use in the ordinance as an R9 district. And I'm just trying to get clarity so people understand. Like, our hands are tied on what you're looking for.
I fully understand that.
You know?
I fully understand that. But just getting back to the standard, I mean, they have to prove essentially that they can't use that property constructively for any other purpose.
No.
Well, essentially, I mean, that's one of the factors.
No.
That's.
They're not looking for a variance to build a building. They're looking for a variance for the roof.
Well, they're looking for relief.
On the roof, on the
Right.
7 feet.
Right, and the variance says that they have to, certain things they have to prove.
Well,
So,
but what I'm trying to say to you, and I don't want to make any enemies here, because I know an awful lot of these people here. If we don't give it to them, the building's still going to go up.
I understand that.
So, I mean, they don't have to prove anything. It's a yes or no, and they're still going to build a building.
Well, they may build a two-story building because they've referenced here tonight that they have apartments in Moosic. I believe those apartments in Moosic are 2 stories with a slanted roof. So maybe that would fit better in the neighborhood and you wouldn't have all these people objecting to it. So maybe that's the compromise we're looking for.
That's up to them.
Okay, well, I mean, we're willing to talk to them certainly, but if they're not willing to talk to us, we're presenting to you that they haven't proven their burden of proof to get the variance under the city zoning ordinance.
To get the variance for what?
What do you say? They don't have the hardship for the 7 feet.
The 7 feet, yeah, that's what I'm saying,
Right,
Sean.
they have to prove,
They're building a building.
they have to prove a hardship,
Building was going to go up no matter
and they haven't done that.
Make it harder to get 3 floors in.
Again, we're not asking for hardships, we're just looking for aesthetics. No matter what, the 3-story building's going up with a flat roof if we don't get the variance. And when that's not changing. We have over $1.5 million invested in that property. And going with a 2-story building will not, our pockets got hurt more than anybody's over the past 13 years. You know, and we're trying to do, again, something right here. And I understand again, but what we're doing is gonna happen. And if it's either gonna be with a flat roof, or it's gonna be more aesthetically wise with the roof that we wanna put on it. That's all we're here for. We're not here for arguments, we're not here for anything else but this variance. That's it.
Well, I mean, they have the right to voice their opinion, and you know.
Yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah.
So,
We're just asking that they meet the code for a variance. That's all we're asking.
So you understand, so whatever happened here tonight still has to go for the planning board for review. Am I correct?
Absolutely. Yes, I believe so.
So, I mean, this is just the beginning step. I mean, there could be flaws that they find that have to be changed when it comes to water retention or anything like that. So this is just the beginning. I just want the people I know, my friends down there, to understand that our hands are tied on this project. They have the right to go in there and put that building up by the zoning code. The only thing we could stop is tell the gentleman that we're not going to give you that 7 feet. You got to go 35 feet. And I don't know if it's not going to change the project. It's going to change what kind of roof you're looking at.
Maybe. We don't know. We don't know that.
I guess I don't know it. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. How about that?
You raise your right hand, please.
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Name and address, please.
It's Mary Ellen McDonough, 500 McDonough Street, Scranton. I'm a resident of Manuka. I think some of you know that. I've been there my entire life. I just have a few questions relative to what I've learned here this evening. Prior to this evening, I really had little or no awareness of the project. I just heard of it a few days ago, which was news to me. So I'm grateful that I did get that opportunity and got here for that. 2 questions come to mind for me. I heard one of the gentlemen mention a traffic study was done when the bank came in.
Correct.
So was there a traffic study done now for this project per se?
No.
So is that something we might consider?
Not for this specific project. It may have been addressed in the HOP that was for the bank a number of years ago.
Okay, so I'm just asking, might that be a consideration going forward for this project? Because traffic is a serious concern in this region, particularly I hate to say particularly at Mass time, because our church is an incredibly active church, so there's a lot of traffic all the time. So I would request that, if that's something we're allowed to do.
Yeah, take it into consideration during the design process as we go through the land development process.
Okay. And secondly, I heard you say the target population is a high-end population. Is that correct? These are high-end structures?
That's correct.
So that would be your plan for that?
That's, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have one suggestion, if I may. I don't have authorization to say this, but I'm telling you, I believe our church would be willing to open the doors to a community meeting for the gentleman to present the project, because it will be impacting our church tremendously. And I'm not looking for it to turn into a big to-do, but rather a genuine presentation of what that would look like, so that the people in the parish and surrounding community might, in fact, have the opportunity to ask questions. I realize that has nothing to do with you, but I thought it might be a good opportunity for the community to understand this a little better, because many of us have different views of what's happening. We're not sure about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you.
I think that's a good idea.
You raise
Good
your right hand,
evening.
please. Good evening. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I am, I do.
Name and address.
My name is Karen Howard McHale. I live at 519 Ward Street in Dunmore. I also lived at 3109 Cedar Avenue in Manuka. I just want to set the record straight.
You currently live in Dunmore, though?
Pardon me?
You currently live in Dunmore?
Yes, but I'm talking for my mother.
Oh, she lives there still?
Yeah, she's right over there.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to set the record straight that 20 years ago, 18 years ago, we would not be here, because when my mother and father said that they would sell the house, they never showed up to purchase the house. And I don't think anybody in Manuka is against change, but I think the bullying tactics that they used was unnecessary. I don't think anybody has a problem with the two-story home or a two-story apartment, but again, it was the bullying tactics that, the gentleman said, you can ask anybody in Taylor. Well, how about you put like the crack house that was next to my mother's, and then we'll talk and see if anybody comes up and testifies against that or for that. But I just wanted to set the record straight that I don't think anybody in Manuka is against change, but it's the bullying tactics that really took a lot out of my mother, and it still does today. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Name and address, please.
My name is Maggie Perry. My address is 3251 Coyne Avenue in Scranton. So I understand at this point it's pretty fruitless. We were coming here under the impression that we were having a discussion about the actual facility going up, the development. I'm not against a nice roof by any means, but I took issue with some of the points that were made by the developer behind me. First, I didn't realize he owned the house that was previously there. I know what kind of tenants you rent to. I was one of the people who had a problem with the pit bulls on more than one occasion and went to court over it. But this is not progress, and this is not something to improve the neighborhood. This is for profit, and he has every right to do that. But it is not about the community at all. And I just felt compelled to say that because I found some issue with some of the things that he said. They want to make money, they can do that, but unfortunately, all too often, with these sorts of developments, the homeowners suffer. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to just speak on behalf of the homeowners. I've lived in Manuka for the past 7-8 years. My family's been from here. We're a community, a multi-generational community, and there's a lot of passion, clearly, and deservingly so. But I take issue with someone who's not from our community coming in and telling us what we need and what's right for us, and not at all consulting with us on that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
You raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear to give the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do. My
Name and
name's
address?
name's Chester Bistricki. My address is 135 Finney Street, Manuka, Pennsylvania. I'm a lifelong resident of Manuka. My parents are lifelong residents of Manuka. My grandparents are lifelong residents of Manuka. I speak on behalf of myself, residents on Vipond Avenue, Finney Street, Coyne Avenue, Gilroy Street, Crane Street, Oak Street, and Dowd Avenue, and I would ask that you reject their request for the variance, number one. Number two, I would also ask that the apartment complex, I understand that you're unable to do it as all the people requested, but I'm also asking that the apartment request for the apartment, the building of the apartment, be denied. Why? Because they're talked about traffic. The Department of Transportation came across, and before the bank was built and the bridge went in, everything was going to be beautiful. If you go from the church across Davis Street into Collery Avenue, you can't even cross the street with the amount of traffic that's up and down on Davis Street. If anyone drives up and down, you can see people are coming out of church and they can't cross the street because the traffic is just crazy. There's apartments down by our house in the bottom lower section of Manuka, a four rental section and a 2 rental section. The cars are parked on the street. A fire truck can't get through, a plow can't get through, and that's okay because it's grandfathered in. Well, this isn't grandfathered in. There's going to be traffic problems based upon the past conduct. As Mr. Pechkowski said, there was a crack house on the corner. I live there, my children live there, all of these residents' children live there, and we don't want any. We want a peaceful neighborhood without any problems. We understand that we want to make everything better and we want progress, but there's a price for progress. If you want to put residential houses in there, we're all in agreement, but we do not want the apartments. I understand that you can't make the ruling on the apartments, but I would ask you to make the ruling on the variance and deny it. And not only am I a resident of Scranton all my life, but I am a taxpayer, I'm an employer, I pay my 3.4%, I pay my property taxes, I pay my school taxes, I pay my business privilege taxes, so I would ask for some consideration for myself and the residents of Manuka. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Dan, this needs a planning commission approval for this project?
Sure, because that's what takes into account traffic and all that other stuff.
Okay, are the residents able to give input at the planning commission meetings? Yes. They are? So these guys are all welcome to come back to give their input when because this is not over with when it leaves here. It still needs other approvals, correct?
Yes. If anybody would like to stay afterwards and give me their contact information, I can notify you when this plan goes before the planning commission. It also goes before the planning commission at least twice for a preliminary design where we have a lot of public input before our engineers sort of go back and forth when they nail things down, and then they go for a final review. So this will not be the last time.
So just because our hands are tied, guys, please follow this case along if you guys have some problems with this project and voice your opinions to the planning commission.
I was better off putting the marijuana dispensary there. Maybe I'd have left breathe.
Sir, you could do whatever you want. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just...
So just for clarity, so everyone knows, all we're... Stop. You had your time. It's my time to talk, so stop.
I'm not going to sit up here and have my character attacked either. So I have the right to defend myself.
All right, guys, hold on. We're going to... Did you guys have any... is there anyone else here left that wanted to speak? Okay. Are you guys done with your case?
Yes.
Okay, let's finish.
Yeah. I'll make a motion on the request for a variance to raise it up from 35 feet to 42 feet.
Second. Board Member DeAntona?
No.
Board Member Gattens?
No.
Board Member Morris? No. Chairman Walsh?
No. Vote 4-0, you've been denied. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you for your time.